Gentlemen, how are we doing today? We are officially live. Give me a 1 in the chat if the sound and volume is working. Oh, I should have actually checked this before to make sure that my audio is good. What's going on? How's the audio sounding? Yep, audio's tracking. We're good. Sup 1. Gentlemen, today, we are dressed in all black. We are going full-blown John Wick in this mother trucker as we are going to be firing a lot of shots, and we ain't going to be missing. We are not going to be missing at all today. For some reason, I woke up with a fire under my patoot, under my behind, and I was just like, I think I saw. So, before I get really into the topic, first and foremost, I want to lay out a disclaimer, just in case people start listening to this podcast in particular. I am not going to be discussing her murder or her death. That is not what this conversation is going to be about. This conversation is going to be focusing around the way that news media and other people are vying right now to make domestic violence a new conversation, and the way that they are trying to spin it. And I'm just merely using the case and the evidence of what we saw as the main talking point, seeing as this is a popular subject. We are not discussing anything after this time frame of when the police officers interacted with them, Gabby and her I guess we can call him ex-boyfriend now, right? We are not discussing the murder. We are not moving beyond the point of this domestic violence call and this domestic violence situation, okay? So anything that happens beyond this is whatever, right? How's it going? How's it going, everyone? I just wanted to get that disclaimer out there first, and I'll probably have to do that all again. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I got it in the description. But since we're all black, since we are going full fucking John Wick mode today, I do have a fragrance for you. Although I do want to keep the mood rather direct, rather businessy. I don't want to get too far off topic, but I do have the fragrance to match the mood perfectly. And this is a fragrance by Kilian. It is called Black Phantom. You need to go and check this out. This is a great fragrance by Kilian. I forgot what the thing is called, but the box, they have a specific name for it. But the box it comes in is really cool. Black skull, everything. This is the John Wick fragrance, the Black Phantom. Absolutely loving it. Shame she was a fine POA. LOL. 10-4 CC. Good topic. Thank you. Well, so the topic that we're discussing today, right now, we're talking about Gabby Petito. And we are saying, and we're asking the question, can women take accountability? And we're framing this in the context of understanding domestic violence in America today. That's the biggest question I want to ask. Can women take accountability when it comes to what's going on with the supposed epidemic of domestic violence here in America? And the biggest question that I want to ask is, when it comes to accountability, is there any part played by the woman in the supposed domestic violence? Are the numbers and is the mindset around domestic violence in America overly conflated in order to promote a power grab? in order to promote a popular belief system that isn't true? Are women accountable for this? Are women accountable for, if domestic violence is such an issue, are women accountable for not only playing a role in it escalating, but are they accountable also for making up a majority of the number, of the percentage? Now, what we're seeing happening right now is headlines such as these. Gabby Petito warned by Utah park ranger that the relationship with Brian Laundrie seemed toxic. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here's a good one, right? Well, this is more so towards authority. What Gabby Petito's case says about cops and us. Here's a video that we're going to watch here in a second. Just a short one. Not invite, share. Domestic violence experts analyzes Petito body cam video. We're going to talk about that. And then we have a final one. Oh, that's just the body cam stuff. But either way, if you were to Google right now and ask the question or type in the question, anything to do with domestic violence right now, you will hear the news media, you'll hear them discussing that we need to have a conversation about this. We need to re-engage and we need to restart this conversation about domestic violence in America. But the fact of the matter is this, and the beauty is that what I'm going to show you today is, sure, let's have that conversation. I would love to have this conversation. Why? Because all the data that's coming out currently, when you look at any data that it comes down to when it comes to domestic violence or domestic disputes here in America, believe it or not, 48% of the time, women have instigated or initiated the violence in the household. 48% of the time. In this case, and this is what I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to show you that Gabby was the one that instigated violence and abuse in this current situation. And she was let go by the police. So when people now want to have this new conversation as well about, we need to talk about policing and domestic violence in America today, we have to ask the same question. Okay, if 48% of the time women are the ones that are initiating violence in their households when police officers are receiving domestic violence calls, why are women not incarcerated or found guilty or put into the system at a rate that men are? So then the real question is, America, media, all these other social elites, liberal female types and all this stuff, you want more fairness? You want more justice? You want to have this discussion and conversation about domestic violence in America? Why is it that when police officers show up to a domestic violence call and it's the woman who initiated it, why is she not removed from the scene? Why is she not taken away and brought to a hotel in order to cool down and calm down? Why is she not threatened by the courts to have her children taken away from her? Why is she not put in handcuffs or roughed up by police officers and taken away? Why is she not put into custody? Now, the easy answer is this. In order for that to happen, the husband would have to press charges, right? And no man in his right mind is really going to want to sit there due to this old school style belief system of masculinity and maturity and all this other stuff. No man's going to want to sit there and remove the mother of their children from the household and file a domestic violence complaint or charge his wife with a domestic violence, charge. Because why? Because now he's becoming a home wrecker. Now, in the appearance of his children, he's going to be removing the mother from the household, and that's not a good thing. He doesn't want to destroy his family. To his neighbors, he just wants us all to be brushed under the rug, nothing bad to happen. He doesn't want to lose any credibility by charging his wife or his partner with domestic violence, because that'll make him look worse. But why is it so often that women are encouraged to have the male removed from the household? Even if she doesn't want to press charges, guess what happens? Due to the Duluth model, it is now the police officer's role to remove the man from his house and separate them. Why wasn't that done here? Well, actually, as a matter of fact, it was done here, but it was done so that Brian had to go and pay for his own hotel and separate from Gabby, to which they made the choice the next day to meet back up and continue on with their deal. There's something I want to talk about really quickly. I had a bit of an epiphany. Forgot what I was doing. But regardless, I came across the meaning of the word matrix, what the term matrix actually meant. And the term matrix originated from meaning mother, womb, feminine. There's another reason why I'm dressed this way. I don't know if you recall, but Morpheus in the Matrix liked to don the black, as well as Neo, don the black. And what they were trying to do was wake up the rest of humanity from the Matrix. What is the Matrix that we're living in currently? What is the Matrix? What is the red pill when it comes down to it? Well, gentlemen, what I want to show you and I want to tell you is this. The Matrix we are living in is a matriarchy, a gynocentric institution, a government, a control by which women own and operate the rule of law, where we have been gaslighted as men to believe that we are the problem and to believe that we are living in a toxic patriarchy, when the reality is the matrix that we're living in and the matrix that people are living in is in an illusion to believe they're in a patriarchy. But the reality is this: everything that we see, all the comforts, all the technology, all the rules and laws, all our governmental institutions, our financial institutions, our medical institutions, our taxation, every single thing that we have right now in our creation, in this reality, is meant to benefit women. And what they do, knowing that they have the power, is to gaslight you. And what I'm going to show you today is this. The fact of the matter is this. This case in particular is perfect to show you that everything that is being told to you and sold to you, that men are the problem, men are the ones with the toxic behaviors, cops are the ones that are making it so that the patriarchy exists further, and they're discrediting domestic violence, that mental health affects XYZ, and this is the reason for that. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. And this is where I ask women the question, can you take accountability? Because the fact of the matter is this: I am not, and this is what's going to happen. If this video were to go viral, I already know what's going to come out of the mouths of news broadcasters or whomever, right? They're going to sit there and say, look at this men's rights activist and all this other stuff. I am not a men's rights activist. Don't get me wrong. I am not trying to sit here and say, we need to change the system so that it's equal and blah. I don't fucking care about any of that stuff. The only thing I care about is the truth and justice. I care about truth and justice. Not this social justice bullshit, made up matrix lying crap that is meant to dissuade you away from understanding justice and bases everything off of identitarian politics and so forth. I don't care about that shit. I care about true justice. I understand this. We have men and we have women. But let me ask you a question first. What are you first? Are you a person or are you a man? Women, let me ask you a question. Are you a person first or are you a woman first? Are you a human first or are you a woman first? The fact of the matter is justice needs to be imparted equally upon any human who violates the balance of justice. It doesn't matter if I'm bigger or stronger than you. If you strike me, if you lose your emotional center and strike me, you have now just committed violence against me. I don't care what reason it's for. It's so funny too because women feel as though that they can go around and hit men. But you watch women when they're in control of young boys and young girls playing when they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. What's the first thing that they're going to tell children when children get angry and frustrated they don't get their own way? And they go and they try to swipe at their next friend. Don't hit. Don't hit. Don't hit. That's what women will say. Women will sit there and they'll sell you this belief system that they don't use violence. That violence is bad. That they're more morally lofty, right? That they're higher above us men in morality because they don't use violence. Yet, 48% of the time, women commit domestic violence against men. Initiate domestic violence against men. 48% of the time. This is the conversation we need to start having. If you want to have a conversation about domestic violence and holding people accountable, we need to have a conversation about getting rid of this civil rights era bullshit of identitarian politics and social whatever. There's no such thing as social justice. There's only justice. Just like I always say this, there's no such thing as hate speech. There's only hate. There's only speech. I was going into a different one. So there's no such thing as social justice. There's only justice. There's no such thing as hate speech. There's only speech. There's no such thing as a hate crime. There's only crime. That's why I wanted to steer away from the latter part of what happened in this scenario with Gabby Petito, right? Because a crime was committed. She was murdered. That is a crime. Whoever committed that crime should face justice for that. But we are only discussing the domestic violence aspect of it today, right? Now, I do not want to lay any blame at the feet of the police officers because, believe it or not, I think, number one, they made the right call. And number two, I think they handled it well. However, from the perspective I see things, when it comes to justice, when it comes to how women benefit from the current structures and laws and rules that are put into place, there are some things I want to pick apart. But first, I want to have a conversation about Gabby Petito herself. Because in the eyes of America, in the eyes of the mainstream news, in the eyes of this gynocentric matriarchy matrix that we live in today, she is nothing but an innocent little lifetime character who was brutally slain by this devil of the patriarchy. But the fact of the matter is that Gabby Petito was nothing more than your typical modern entitled woman who thought that because she was young, she was cute, and she gets her way all the time by manipulating people on Instagram and in her life, that she was going to be able to get away without any consequences from her poor choices and actions. But what do we have? We have the legacy media today and the vast majority of people who are still trapped in this matrix, who have to view the world from this old civil rights era mindset that the patriarchy exists, women throughout history have been subjugated and dominated by men, that anytime there's any type of dysfunction in a relationship, it lies at the feet of a toxic male who is only trying to control the woman. And the woman is this poor, innocent creature who's suffering from anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and she is the victim. She can't get out of there, guys, because this patriarch is so strong and powerful that he's manipulated her mind from reality. So she's trapped. She can't get out of there. Her love is so great for this individual that she just hopes the best. And she has so much empathy for his soul that maybe one day he'll just turn around and love her for who she is, instead of trying to be this domineering and controlling toxic male. But the fact of the matter is this, and it's something I'm going to show you right now. Our news media and the matrix, the matriarchy, and the blue pill people all understand what truth is. They just love the illusion. That's really what it comes down to, because the truth can sometimes be very boring, especially when it's drawn out for such a long time. People want to create drama in their own life to make there become some ebbs and some flows, right? Some peaks and some valleys in their life, because the truth can be boring. So what do people know? People know this. Women are very, very manipulative. Women are just like children. When faced with the truth, when faced with the consequences of their actions, when their feet are held to the fire of what the mirror is reflecting back at them for what they've done and who they are, they will always, always, always try to squirm away from being placed in that box, in that category, because the truth is painful to women. So in order to escape that pressure, that social pressure of having that magnifying glass being placed on them, what will women do? What will women do? Well, this is what they'll do.
He's on. You want to tell me what's wrong?
Yeah, no. It's something. I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning up back there before, and I'm apologizing to him. I'm sorry that I'm so mean. Sometimes I get mean, sometimes I feel frustrated. Not like mean words to him. I just I guess my vibe is like that.
What did you guys see there? I have to play it on the speaker so that it'll go through the mic. So that's what you're seeing, and that's what you're listening to. It has to be that way. I don't have it directly tied in because that. So the reason why I flipped over to this whole thing. So we'll try to figure out a better way next time I do some videos. And we have a winner. Crocodile tears. That's what we are going to see every single time a woman's feet is held to the fire. Every single time. Perfect. So the first thing you're going to see is crocodile tears. And then we have the perfect secondary follow-up. We're going to play victim. Always do. Even if they don't, or even if they didn't, the cops in court play that card for them to get a conviction notch. Absolutely. Andrew H. has it perfectly. Blame shifting. Thank you. She's also appealing to the protective instinct of men to pardon her. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because blue pill men always give women, especially cute women, the benefit of the doubt. And women, especially her, who have been playing and manipulating men for years, know exactly to play this card. But I want you to hear something in there. This is a new thing that a lot of women are doing today because of the times we live in. Oh, come on. It's not liking the internet today for some reason. Come on, puto.
Oh,
we just missed it.
That's what I have the mail. Keys on the hood. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something. I really bad OCD.
It's up on the screen for you right there, gentlemen. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and then it's the reason why I'm so mean. And like, oh wait, I can't say that I'm mean to him because then that'll imply that I'm the abusive one. So I'm just like mean in general, and then he gets frustrated, and I was like trying to work, and like I have this mental health condition and problem. No. This is what's happening right now today in this gynocentric, matriarchal society. What we are doing now is we are overdiagnosing every single thing. We are pathologizing everything, right? So that people can sit there and say, let's rewind real quick. One thing I want you to know, and I write about this in my first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. I talk about champions and victims. Well, the victim class is part of the matriarchy, right? This matriarchal matrix. That's what they do. Now, the difference between someone who's a champion and someone who's a victim is this, and this is a big difference between the characteristics of masculine and feminine. The feminine is always going to have an external locus of control. What does an external locus of control mean? It means that everything is happening to them. Everything is happening to them. That is the ultimate sign of a victim. So the ultimate sign of a victim is always going to sit here and say, my environment is causing me to be this way. My XYZ is causing me to be this way. It's not fair. I can't control it. So therefore, when you have someone who behaves like this, their go-to excuse is always going to be to excuse their actions from some outside force or outside entity to themselves. My OCD is really bad. No. Here's the fact of the matter, miss. Here's what it really comes down to. You have been entitled your entire life. You are a young, attractive, white, blonde woman who is an influencer on the internet, and you probably have parents who never really truly held you accountable. You were able to get away with everything, to include your poor choices and your poor behaviors. So much so that because of this, you now find yourself in a relationship with an equally dysfunctional individual who tolerates and does not uphold boundaries, and you get to behave this way. You see what I did there as well? I am not just blaming this woman. Her her boyfriend, Brian, was probably equally as dysfunctional as her. However, whenever you have someone who is a narcissist or an entitled brat in a relationship, who are they going to attract? Whenever you have a toxic person in a relationship, they always need a codependent. And the codependent is going to be the one that has the covert contracts, that's going to hope and wish that the person who's toxic and abusive is just going to change one day. So Chance, go lay down. Thank you, sir. Good boy. The biggest downfall with having someone who's codependent in a relationship, what are they always going to do? What are they always going to do? Doc's Chance. One day. The biggest thing about someone who's codependent is they are always going to be the person who pushes that individual. I'm looking for the exact term and I can't seem to find it. Enable. They're always going to enable that person's toxicity to come out. Always. Always, always, always. Right? Because they operate off of covert contracts. Shout out to No More Mr. Nice Guy. Great book if you want to understand covert contracts. If you want to understand toxic relationships and getting away from attracting these types of women. Great book for that, by the way. So this covert contract is a contract that's under the table rather than where it comes from of being a masculine and centered man. A man that possesses masculine centeredness understands his boundaries up front, like I discussed in the last podcast when I was talking to Scott about his relationship with that hottie. He's going to understand his boundaries and he's going to make his boundaries clear. And if the boundaries are crossed, he cuts ties and dips out or enacts some type of punishment. 100%. 100%. This is Dublin Hitman. I'm right on board with you. Right on board with you. However, what I'm discussing is that this is how relationships are, right? So she held more power in this relationship or more power over him, which meant and means that she's probably higher on the scale of narcissism than he is, right? Because regardless, someone who is the codependent still possesses a lot of dark triad traits, but they try to cover it up with a facade of having the light triad traits. Now, this is important that I wanted you guys to see this part of the video because what comes next? This. Dee-dee-dee-doo, dee-dee-dee-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm retarded with this shit. Actually, so I had this clip ready to go, but let's talk about this one. All right. Let's go here.
Argue and get physical.
She talks about her mental health issues, her OCD specifically, and that
Domestic violence expert analyzes Petito body cam. Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, President and CEO, Clara Reynolds. Her STD specifically, that is not the right one. Oh, that's fucking priceless. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Her mental health issues, her OCD specifically, and that there was tension between the two. She acknowledged tension between them, so you could tell that this was an escalating situation.
Clara Reynolds with the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay tells us remotely they handle calls all the time from people looking for help in domestic violence situations. Reynolds watched the body cam video and says it's important to trust your gut if you see something.
So at least at this point, there is recognition that within a couple of weeks of the disappearance, that there was at least one interaction that demonstrated that there was some issue between the two individuals.
Get off my screen. What did you notice from that woman? This expert. Because this is what we're seeing. Yeah, I know it's echoing. When I do that stuff, it's going to have to echo. Plain and simple. I mean, I don't have a direct feed into what's it called. So apologies. When I get a new, what's it called, I could probably rock and roll better. But who knows? I need a better setup. Which means I need more money. I need a lot of money. Anyway, what we saw from her was what she's doing is she's covering up for Gabby. She's saying, oh, yes, there we go. There we go. Can't you see she was clearly crying? She was crying all the time. She was crying the whole time. So that meant there was an issue. She was having a mental health issue. She even said it. She says, I have OCD. Feel bad for her. She's the victim to all this stuff. You ready for this one? I know it's going to echo, guys. I apologize. It's not fucking directly into the screen or directly into the feed. I have to do it through a speaker to the speaker because this stupid, what's it called? My preamp isn't working anymore. That's what the problem was. What are you waiting for? All right, you ready for some fucking beta action?
Landry and Gabby Petito. As we see on the body cam footage, she grabs water for the couple and then proceeds to spend about an hour and 17 minutes talking with Gabby. Over that time, she asks Gabby, is she happy in her relationship? She, again, like you said, warns her of, her relationship with Brian seems toxic. And again, imploring her to use this as an opportunity to make a change in her life and try to take her life down another path.
Let me ask if you guys can hear this without.
Explicit details of that.
Can you hear that without the speaker?
Go into that with me, and we'll soon see that. When the body camera footage is released.
I can't hear it,
Ranger Holz said that although the officers there, including herself, thought Brian Laundrie was manipulative. Being manipulative is not a crime. The facts in that setting place Gabby Petito as the aggressor. Ranger Holz
then we don't have to worry about that then. I still need money though.
Gabby Petito was having a mental health crisis, and that she did not.
Mental health crisis.
That she struck Brian Laundrie. She wasn't malicious when she hit him.
But she wasn't malicious when she hit him.
Yeah, and so she conferred with her colleagues, and as we see in the body cam footage, Gabby took the van, and Brian was taken to a hotel.
Oh, man.
Tucson versus Nissan Rogue.
I got to read something in this thing, so I can't close it out. Hopefully it doesn't give you guys the, what's it called? Well, we'll stop sharing screen anyway. That works. Anyway. There's another, what's it called? Let me read this to you guys real quick, and then we'll get back into some more stuff. Alrighty. Gabby Petito is one of the thousands of women who disappear each year, as nearly 3 women are murdered every day in America by their romantic partner. But unlike almost all those women, she has become the front page news, blah, 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 blah. While her story has resonated on many levels, to some, she's an abused girlfriend, to others, the victim of a serial killer of the kind you might find in a cold case podcast. Many of us see proof of this story of how police often don't take domestic violence as seriously as they should. Body cam footage from August from the officers responding to domestic disturbance shows a weeping Gabby sitting in the back seat of a police car. Oh my goodness. The man who called 911 said he saw Petito slap Brian Laundrie during an argument before climbing into the vehicle. She was crying uncontrollably. At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears, wipe her nose, or rub her knees with her hands. Okay. I guess that means he's guilty and she's been in a toxic relationship for so long, huh? It's terrible. Terrible. Until you see this.
The only way you know what her attempting to do is by asking her. Right.
Do. Want you to take note right when he opens the door, right here.
Gabby, this is a very, very important question. How you answer this question?
Oh, man.
Right.
Let's see that again. Ready?
Gabby, this is a very, very important question. How happens next? But the only
Watch
person
it
who can answer this
start
question
to melt. Watch it
Think
melt.
very hard before you ask it.
Then we're going to listen to this really quickly too. But I wanted you guys to see this first. Let's watch it one more time. I can't see the comments, so I just want to...
Very, very important question.
Huh. Okay. Let's go back again real quick and watch this real quick again.
Very important question.
Huh. See if I can find that exact moment to stop it. Gonna open the door right now. And...
Gabby.
Huh. That's weird. Is that a smile I see as she was talking on the phone with who knows? Why are we still watching this video? Well, I'll get to the fucking point if you have such a fucking place to go or wherever you want to go. The point of the fact of the matter is this. This officer says, we're going to get to the question here in a second. Why are we still watching this video? I wanted you guys to see this. When he walks up to the door and he opens the door when she had been alone and talking on her cell phone for however long, everyone was saying, and the cops were saying, and all news media sitting here saying, there wasn't a moment in time that she stopped crying and she was in pain and sorrow and all this stuff. But yet here she was talking on her phone, safe in this little car, all this other stuff, and she was smiling. And she was in a completely different emotional state. Until what?
This is a very, very important question.
Oh, until he's going to ask her a question.
Is going to determine what happens next.
Oh, and look at her face
The only
just start
person
to
who
melt.
can answer this question
Just
is you.
melt away into tears
very hard
and
before-
sniffles and all this other stuff. Not fucking 5 seconds ago was she smiling and in a different emotional state while she was talking on the phone with whoever. This is the mark of a manipulator. This is the mark of a manipulator. This is someone who uses her emotions in order to manipulate people. I would love to hear what that conversation was of who she was talking to. Love to know who she was talking to. Thank you very much. To show female manipulation, Marky Mark. Thank you very much. This is huge. Would someone who was in such a state, who couldn't control herself, couldn't control her tears, all this other stuff, Look at this. She controlled her crying when asked what she does for a living, like a switch. Her whole attitude changed. And this is the conversation we need to start to have. We need to have this conversation, because what women are doing when it comes to domestic violence is they are using their emotions. They're using this state. They're using these crocodile tears and their little victimhood deals and all this other stuff about how they're a victim and they have all these issues and all this other stuff, and they're using it to manipulate police. Now, here is the biggest aspect when it comes to domestic violence and whether or not women can take accountability. This is the question I'm asking. Listen to this.
Before you answer the question, do not quickly answer. Think very hard.
He's coaching her.
When
Anyway.
you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him?
No.
What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
What doesn't
Oh,
sound to me like she attempted to injure him?
it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to injure. Your call. Can you fucking believe that? Imagine I have a woman here in the household. She calls the cops on me for domestic violence. The cops come to the door. They look at her face and they're like, hey, she's got a bruise on the left corner of her face, on her eye. She's got a couple scratches too. And then they put me in the cop car and they say, hey, Lysander, so we know you slapped her, right? Yes, I slapped her. Mm-hmm. So we know you slapped her around a bit. What were your intentions? Were you intending to cause her physical harm or impairment? What were you trying to do? I was just trying to get her to shut up. She was nagging me. She was nagging me a lot. She was just complaining the whole time. I just wanted her to shut up. Oh, well, it looks to me as though he wasn't trying to injure or impair her in any fucking way. So we're just going to let you go. We're just going to let you go. It was, you didn't commit any crimes. You're just trying to get her to be quiet. I understand. So you just slapped her in the face a couple times. Like, I'm just going to fucking use this excuse. I did not intend to actually cause physical harm. I didn't intend to do that. It just, I decided to be violent to get her to be quiet. That's all. This is the same shit that happened. And when it comes to accountability with women, our judicial system doesn't do it. It's the same shit that happened with fucking Hillary Clinton and the goddamn email server. Listen, I was a counterintelligence, human intelligence specialist. One of the biggest criteria that we had to do was protect our secret and compartmented information, right? We had to understand all these things. Anybody who ever deals with secret compartmented information, whether it's secret or any higher level, they are read in. What does that mean? It means you are given a binder that says this is what you do and this is what you do not do. These are the devices that you can and cannot bring around your fucking whatever, right? This is a contained situation. Who was the knucklehead? Comey? We found that she did not actually intend to cause any type of damage or harm. She wasn't being nefarious in leaking all of this stuff. She just did it based off of ineptitude and all this other stuff. Bro, there are fucking people in the military who are in the fucking brig for bringing a thumb drive into a skiff. You know what I'm saying? And this bitch leaks. Anyway, God, it just drives me fucking up a goddamn wall. Justice. It doesn't matter what sex you are, what religion you are, what color your skin is. If you are a human being and you committed crime against another fucking human being, you deserve to face the justice or the consequences of your actions, right? Now, here's my take on this whole situation. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't believe that cops should become these interventionists of what we're seeing today, right? Police are only there to enforce laws when they're broken, right? Like, you broke the law, so now you have to face the consequences of this. So police get called, right? Show up. Hey, you're under arrest while we conduct an investigation. You go in front of a fucking judge. Police are not there to prevent you from breaking a law, which is where the domestic violence crowd and community is trying to go right now. Yes, cops are now training social work at the academy. No. Cops are law enforcement. You break the law, that's what cops are there for. They're going to come and they're going to cite you and do whatever. Even though I tackle this in my new book, I think there are way too many laws and way too many rules that cops need to fucking enforce, and that's what really causes an issue in society and all this other stuff. What the problem is here is relationships are messy. Relationships are the most messy thing on the planet, right? Now, granted, she did hit him, right? She did hit him. Someone called the cops and the cops came and they're like, hey, we saw this happen. It's up to the boyfriend at this point, because he was the one being abused or being attacked or whatever, to sit here and say, yeah, I'll press charges. No, I won't press charges, and then move on from there. That's all the cops can do. But now this whole conversation is turning into the fact that cops ignore domestic violence. And you're 100% right. If you want to go with that under the way that you're trying to change the laws, lefties. But guess what? If this were the case, she would need to have been removed. She would have been the one that needed to be arrested. She would have been the one that needed to go into the hotel that night. And he should have been given the keys to stay in the van, right? If we're being fair, if we're actually operating from a premise of justice, right, or the pretense of justice, she openly admitted, I was the one hitting him. I was clawing at him to try to get the keys back to the car. She was in no physical danger for anything. He was just trying to separate from her so she didn't drive off with the van, right? He said to her, let's take some time and cool down. I'm going to go this way, you go that way. That's when she tried to break into the van and crawl in there, and that's when somebody called the police on this whole situation. Of course, they come up and they think and assume that he's the one being violent towards her. Find out that she did it. She was the one being violent. She was the one clawing at him and hitting him with her cell phone. She admits it. Then the cops give her an out. Oh, were your intentions to cause him physical harm or whatever their phrase was? Oh, no, she didn't. Okay, then case closed. Case closed. I'm going to wait. It shows that my internet's kind of low right now, so I'm going to wait till, there we go. We're getting better. I got one last video to show you, and then we'll get moving. And it's this. Oh, damn, they actually showed that part. That's what I was looking for earlier, too. It's all right, I found it. Now we have this. Another expert.
Victim. She works with domestic violence survivors at the Spring of Tampa Bay.
So it was not unusual to hear her taking responsibility for her behaviors and kind of, and him not taking any responsibility for his. I tend to think that probably there was a lot more that he did to contribute to the situation than at least I saw in that first 20 minutes.
The couple was separated that night for their safety. Domestic violence experts say the video shows how important law enforcement training is in those situations.
But it's really important that law enforcement knows what they're doing, that they give a potential victim space to be able to safely talk about what's been going on.
And victim advocates say that it is also important to watch for any signs that may be wrong, because
Holy
every couple
fucking
is different,
makeup
and those signs may come
damn.
up as
Come
physical
on.
or even behavior changing.
That's disgusting. Anyway. Did you hear what that lady had to say? Did you hear what that lady had to say? She took full accountability for everything she did. However, I don't believe, looking at him, he was the culprit. He's the one that escalated all this stuff. He's the one that made her react this way. Couldn't we use that same exact argument right now? Couldn't we use that same exact argument when it comes to every single domestic violence call that men are found guilty for, or having the cops called on them? Do you think a dude just wakes up one day and he's like, you know what? Or comes home from work one day and he's just like, you know what? I need to rearrange my girlfriend's face right now, just because. Or do you think it comes down to the fact that he's being nagged, or she's being ungrateful, or she says something rude, or maybe she does something even more egregious, like maybe she cheated on him, or maybe she spent his money, or maybe she went out and got an STD from another guy and he got that STD, right? We can use the same argument, lady. Either way, it's funny how she talks about shifting blame, because this is really what it comes down to today, is that women, especially these professional women types and these liberal women types, these men that align with leftism and fighting the patriarchy and align with feminism, this is what they all do. No matter what, the man is at fault. No matter what, the woman is the victim. No matter what, police have to do more. No matter what, we have to further the conversation about this topic. No matter what, we need to take more tax dollars and more tax money, and we need to create new programs for battered women and give them more shelters and give them more resources and take more resources from men and give those resources over to women. Gentlemen, this is what the conversation is always going to lead to. This is what the gaslighting is always going to lead to. This is the world that we live in today. This is the matrix. This is the matriarchy. This is what we are being gaslighted away from believing and understanding. One thing I'm going to do is this. Pretty sure. Quiet. And then let's see if I have crud. Why? Yep. No, it's not going to work. Too bad. All right. I tried. I was going to do a little call-in show. I forgot that I changed out my cameras and all this stuff, so I have to actually set it all up in there and XYZ. So next time, I will do a call-in, because Titan Alpha was discussing that. It's a good idea. I haven't done a call-in in a while. Anyway. There we go. It's finally working too as well. So this is what we need to understand, gentlemen, is the conversation. There's always going to be a need for more conversation. Yes, here we go. He talks about it, the double standard. It's real. If it weren't for double standards, women wouldn't have any standards. That's the same thing that can be applied to leftists. If it weren't for double standards, leftists wouldn't have any standards at all. All right? I'm going to scroll through the chat right now. I know, damn, you guys are crushing it in the chat today. Seeing if we got any great comments. Some thought I used to date had a teenage son that was overdiagnosed with every kind of mental disorder. She got mad when I told her, no, he's just rude, undisciplined little asshole. That's exactly what it comes down to today. It's exactly what it comes down to today. We are excusing poor behavior for some type of mental diagnosis. The mental diagnosis that we have to describe is this, though, and discuss. It's bad parenting. It's bad parenting. It's parents who were raised by other narcissists that were taught that the highway to happiness is to go to college, go in debt, work for a corporation, and buy material goods. Not develop yourself personally, not to go through any really trials or tribulations in life, right? Other than going through the corporate ladder. If you're not able to be successful in that environment, you are somehow, some way a victim to our racist, patriarchal, systemic bullshit that's created in the Constitution of America. It's all white men's fault. Let's be honest. That's really what it comes down to. And they get a Karen feminist as an expert. Always, 100%. Yeah, I had a feeling this chick was whack, had similar behaviors to an ex that was very manipulative. Absolutely. You got to keep your guys, you got to keep it, man, it's just, you got to keep it real. And the fact of the matter is, too, how old was she? 22 years old. Grew up in Long Island around all these people. I grew up in that area, around that area. I know these people. Very, very materialistic, very shallow, very cutthroat when it comes to stuff. That type of stuff is accepted. Yeah, I didn't pull any of that stuff up, man. I know you took off already. I saw that other comment. I just wanted to use that one clip to show you how manipulative she is, right? She can turn on the waterworks, turn off the waterworks, change her emotional state to whatever on the drop of a dime, right? So she's not really suffering. She's manipulating. I should try coding. We'll check it out. Yes, that's the other thing. She yanked the steering wheel, admitted to it, as well as slapping the shit out of the dude, and no consequences. 100%. 100%. Everyone, make sure you hit the like button. I would appreciate that greatly. That'd be awesome. What's up, Patrick Knotts? Good to see you in here. No accountability, not a single ounce. You said it, buddy. I like all the haze and whatever. Another aspect of this BS is that a female can be proven to have falsified her claim of DV in court and face no charges for doing so. Exactly. That's not justice. That is not justice. LOL. How the protected few get to use peaceful slap, peaceful riots. 100. I love it. Yeah, it probably was her mother. And her mother, I need to look into her mother. Maybe I'll do another video on that. Only trust a woman's tears when nobody can see or hear her. Absolutely. Absolutely. Watch back when she's first put in the car and the officer asks what she does for a living. Yeah. Yeah, right. Jesus, what a softball. What a coach softball question. That is not how you interrogate someone, by the way. Just to let you know. Fucking cop should win a mental gymnastics medal for that one. Yeah, gold medal for sure. To be real, though, a woman shouldn't be able to hurt a man with a strike. If she can actually hurt you're kind of soft. That is true. However, this is the way I look at stuff right now in any relationship. If you're willing to do that, what's next? If you're willing to go past that line, it means now it's deeper than this. And I don't want to get into the emotional, because I don't believe in emotional abuse type stuff either. I think that's silly. I believe in boundaries. And if you cross that boundary, you're fucking done, right? That's what I believe. So to me, one of the biggest boundaries that you should never cross is physically causing me physical harm, right? regardless. I don't care what happened, you're not hitting me. You need to, as an adult, as someone who's in my life and my circle, you need to understand how to control your emotions. That's what I'm talking about, right? So it's an emotional tirade when someone starts striking you and they can't communicate properly. Now, if it were a self-defense, if I were coming at her, if I were doing something to her, she has every right in the world to self-defend, right? Anybody does. If someone's coming at you in any type of violent way or that's something you're unsure of, you have every right to self-defend, right? But if someone strikes you, it's over. I'm sorry. Only justice that we get is whatever kind of truth we unfold ourselves in situations like this. Exactly. Right. Male behavior has been pathologized and criminalized, but female bad behavior has been excused. Exactly. This is, in a nutshell, perfectly said, summarizes everything I'm talking about right now, right? And laws have been created to make that, exactly, he means criminalized there, right? To make that the way. So, anyway. Cops are under mandate to arrest in DV situations, and then the DA will take the case and run with it regardless. Won't listen to either party not wanting to press charges. If a man is committing the violence. That's the caveat. If a man is committing the what's it called? The violence. What was with that hashtag? I love it. I'm getting there. I'm not going to post that, but that was a good one, Gookfish. It's difficult to spot the signs sometimes, yet you have to be hyper vigilant these days, 100%. My ex-girlfriend used to threaten she could beat my ass. 5'3", 125. I'm 6 foot 190, and weird knives at me. She stopped when she realized I had everything on video and recorded every fight. Yeah, I would have just gotten out of there. Timius Maximus with the $10 super chat. Kind sir, I salute you. Good to see you in here. Thank you for the donation as well. And you're looking great in that photo there. A woman who's giving physical harm is already doing plenty of mental harm beforehand. This man is on to something for sure. Good for sure. We're having a bromance in the chat between Timius and Pat. It's good to see both you guys in here and loving up on one another. Brotherly love, of course, not the other one. Greg is correct there. Men's harmless transgressions should also be overlooked. If you don't really hurt anyone, right? That's equal. Exactly. And we got more for the bromance. Good to see all the old faces in here as well. All right, gents. I'm going to unscrew my situation here, and I'm going to try to get some way for people to call in and figure out how to rock and roll that way. Like I said, it's just with the new camera and stuff like that and the mic, it wasn't working. So stay tuned for that. I will be back on Monday live at 5 Pacific Standard Time. With that said, gentlemen, actually, believe it or not, I'm very happy about this too. I just finished another new project. So I finished writing my book last month. I just finished writing, and it's in production right now, something new. Very excited for it. I'll keep you gentlemen abreast of it. But it's definitely something that I'm going to have to lean into pretty hard, and I'm going to need your assistance. I still want to publish my other book. So if you guys do have the resources as well, please donate to my PayPal. Don't donate on here. It takes too long to get to me. They take too much money out. Honestly, it's a waste of time. Donate to my PayPal. The PayPal link is in the chat. Just a quick reminder as well, the fragrance of today was Kilian's Black Phantom Black Phantom. It is a delicious fragrance. Oh, man. Powdery, smoky, sweet. A bit of rum, but good rum, like a spiced rum. And it just has that dark suit and tie, powerful, but not too, it's a little bit more gourmand than you would think, right? This is from Kilian's The Cellars collection, and it's part of the Memento Mori line. Go give it a look. Check out and grab a sample if you want to on maxaroma.com if you're interested in this fragrance as well. maxaroma.com. With that said, too, so donate, like, share, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Definitely like and share. Donate, buy my book, and I forgot what else. Twitter, all that other stuff. I'm not going to share that. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys on Monday live at 5. Until then, adios.